Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks Plays KSP. This is episode 12 of our Interplanetary Voyage Season 2. And in today's episode we will be launching our SSTI Horus. As I mentioned during the Kerbal engineering episode, I have decided in the Season 2 I will be naming my SSTOs and stuff on the names of Egyptian deities. By the way, launching with Edlu and Maxted. And guys, I'm very sorry for this because Edlu was the Kerbal who died in my second episode. So once when we actually get this one to the station, this is post commentary, I will terminate Edlu, sorry, because this is more like a ghost of Edlu, and we will have somebody else take his place on the ride from the station onwards. Taking off. By the way, we are, as I mentioned, I will create a link to the episode where we have built the Horus, in case you are interested in how to build it, and it's using twin engines, or 3 engines. First is the jet engine, which is OPT engine, and that one is just insane. It has incredible thrust to weight, and it is very, very powerful. It's a RAM jet. It's actually a SCRAM Jet. The secondary engines are the VASIMR engines, and those are running on xenon gas, so that they could provide some, and they have variable thrust. So I am kicking the generators, and I have enabled the active radiators so that our generators would be properly spooled up by the time we reach high enough altitude for where our jet engine will no longer be able to function. And as you can see, this jet engine is just crazy. We get roughly thrust to weight of 3 point something, so yeah. And the whole purpose of this SSTI and using this SCRAM Jet engine is to actually shoot this aircraft or spaceplane into the space as much as possible, and then hopefully circularize on these weak plasma engines. Granted, we can vary their thrusts at the expense of the delta V, but then again, we have to be a little bit careful while we are doing so. Okay, we have reached the ceiling, engaging VASIMR thrusters with full effect, meaning we are using a lot of delta V compared to what we could be using, but we have a good thrust to weight. And yeah, so that's the idea at the moment. We are thrusting to extend our apoapsis, and at some point I will be also kicking in the extra monoprop engines, by the way, which would be right about now. I want to have these monoprop engines just to give us that extra nudge over the threshold. Obviously, I will need still monoprop to be able to dock to the space station, because the target for this craft, once we go orbital, would be the Kerbal Orbital Lab, where we will be doing some refueling and some crew transfers, and then it will be shipped off to Duna. So, thrusting some more, and time to kill the monoprop engines and just continue thrusting with our xenon drives. Our orbit apoapsis is already 63, which is good enough at the moment, and we are constantly keeping it ahead, so time to apoapsis is increasing, which is a good sign, meaning that we will most likely be going to space. And our periapsis is raising as well. So Little bit different approach to space with this craft, but I think it would be cool to have different types of planes, so I don't want to be just launching the rockets, because that gets stale after a while. And obviously, I mean, you have to come up with some new ways of getting Kerbals to Duna. Okay. So, let's add a maneuver node, and clearly, when I was launching this bad boy, I didn't have in mind that I would actually want to rendezvous and dock with the Kerbal Orbital Lab 1. But I thought of it as an afterthought. It would be kind of cool that we just kind of refuel it a little bit. Because if we will be landing on Duna, then definitely, I don't know if we will be landing on this one on Duna, but if we will, we want to have extra fuel in that SCRAM Jet engine. Okay. Finalizing the circularization while enjoying and admiring the view. Our life support supplies aren't also stellar, so there's another reason of getting on to Duna. Sorry, not to Duna, to the Kerbal Orbital Lab 1, so that we don't use all of our supplies. Every day counts, because this is an SSTO or SSTI, and it doesn't have too much room for supplies. So we want to be resupplied all the time until it's time for our ejection burn. And we are almost orbital. Or we are orbital within a second or two. The moment our periapsis crosses also the 70-ish mark, which should happen right about now. Perfect. And we are orbital, ladies and gentlemen. 75 by 75. I have deliberately gone into lower orbit because I want to be choosing the time when I will be burning to actually rendezvous with the space station. Okay. Kerbal Orbital Lab 1. Great. And now let's see. Ascending node 2 degrees that we want to correct a little bit, and then we want to see at which point can we actually do the burn. So maybe it's actually better that we first correct the inclination, because then we would be able to basically select any maneuver node on our orbit to find the best possible rendezvous, I guess. 100 meters per second to burn, and I have decreased our thrust, so it's not really a big deal. Our current thrust to weight with this fuel economy is 0.10, and it means that we will be having longer burns, but then we don't need to care. I'm also upping a little bit the thrust levels because we started burning a little bit later, but yeah, no matter. Maxted flying together with the ghost of Idlu. Okay. Okay, now let's find the best place at our orbit where we can actually rendezvous with our station. So, orbit before, orbit after, flip it, come on. Oh, and seems we might have something. Hold on. Somewhere along. Come on. No, maybe here. Yeah, well, maybe that could work. Hold on. Can we just fiddle with it a little? Some of those things still need to align better, but okay, I guess. Oh, and I think we have almost a close encounter. Well, our orbital speeds are nearly similar, so that's why what makes this, since we are not properly aligned, increasingly more difficult. I could actually just, add more delta V, but I would much rather prefer to find the ideal spot where to burn. So yeah. And come on, what the hell is happening here? Yeah, a little bit fishy, but okay. I think we have our burn, and that's gonna be in 1 day, 1 hour and 20 minutes. Obviously, guys, I'm not gonna have you watch until I set up the maneuver node and everything, so I'm just gonna skip it a little bit further until I'm much closer to the maneuver node per se, because nobody wants to see me do 20 laps around Kerbal. Yeah, that's just not that fun. Or I mean, there's only a limited amount of time I can sell craft doing circles around Kerbal as fun. Okay, so, and let's kick the gas. Once again, kicking the thrust level. I really don't know why do I bother. Lowering it down, I mean. Okay, great. Let's see where that puts us. Oh, and beautiful close encounter. Okay, I guess we are going to the orbital lab today, ladies and gentlemen. Final lap, keep your hand on the steering wheel. Okay, coming ever so closer. The relative velocity is 100 meters per second, given that we have roughly not that stellar thrust to weight. I guess it's good that if we start aligning things now, so might as well. Let's start burning and reducing our target velocity. And it seems that we will be passing at 0.1 or 2 kilometers in roughly 2 minutes, which is great. I mean, 75 meters per second is definitely, or 79, it's definitely a good speed to be approaching at this distance. However, we have to remind ourselves, and I think I'd rather actually crank up the possible amount of power that I can get from the engine, especially when it comes to quickly reducing our target relative velocity. Accelerating a little bit until we get the orbital lab in the physics range, which is happening right about now. Okay, 64 meters per second, so burning to realign the retrograde markers for the target and our own. .2 coming at us around 30 or 25-ish meters per second. We want to be ever so careful. 650. We are now at 11 meters per second. I don't think that I would want to decelerate much more, otherwise we might be even too slow. So let's pull up a docking port alignment indicator. Okay. Now the Kerbal Orbital Lab 1 has an SSTO dock, which I guess is great because we have put it there. Okay, now we are at relative velocity of 0.1, so we just have to make sure that we control from here and make sure that we are well aligned. So let's just align the center reticule first, although it doesn't seem like it because my controls are backwards, guys, so that's what's going on. Okay, then turning my craft around, and I guess we will be enjoying the sunrise. Yes, sunrise is over Kerbal, our spaceship, and the Kerbal Orbital Lab 1. Okay. Time to actually close the rest of the distance. I'm just making sure to actually push the yellow reticule in the alignment indicator past these two red lines, which are indicating that we are in the wrong direction, and our craft isn't perfectly stable because it's dancing a little bit, which I guess is fine. 150 meters. Okay, we are almost aligned when it comes to the center stack, which is great. Then we only need to align on the vertical stack, so I guess that will be fine. Okay, tiny corrections. Getting ever so closer. Kerbal Orbital Lab, more particularly the SSTO dock. We are coming in the retrograde direction, obviously. Our horizontal alignments is well put. So then we aligned our vertical alignment, which I guess would be how far we are from the docking port, and then we just stop and then thrust towards the docking port, which should hopefully secure us with the connection. Okay, so reducing our relative velocity to the target, which is translation velocity in this case. Have to be careful due to this solar panel though. Okay, and time to start thrusting towards the docking port. A little bit. Going slowly but surely. Come on. 2 meters. And success! Ladies and gentlemen, we have successfully docked our SSTI to the Kerbal Orbital Lab 1. Okay, I think the best part would be to actually disable the engines, just to make sure that we don't accidentally trigger them. Okay. Well, I guess it works. Let's reset the thrust level on both engines. Perfect. I guess we can turn up some of the monoprop production, maybe, I don't know, or just draw some monoprop, because our monoprop engines are highly useful, especially for that transitional region between space and atmosphere. So yeah, I have activated the cyclotrons, and yeah, then once we come back we will need to actually send these experiments. It doesn't want to perform another experiment because we have already performed one, silly. Or started to perform one. Okay. I think that covers it for the SSTI Horus launch. Now, the next order of business would, I guess, be the Carborundum tanker Mark Soul, where we actually need to do some burning with it. But first, we do have 2 or 3 more hires. Wilhaf Tarkin Kerman, Ikrit Kerman, and Chuck Kerman, which are engineer, scientist, and another engineer, respectively. So, 3 more Kerbonauts that are hired to our active team of 25. And given that we have just hired them, they are clearly becoming experts on the subject of interstellar travel, which means basically that we will be shipping them off as soon as possible. Okay, Carborundum tanker reaching its apoapsis in the Sol system, or around our sun. And guys, to be honest, it took me a while until I actually found what was the correct altitude to be collecting the Carborundum, and I tried like 2,000 million meters, and then I tried 3, 4, 1, even blew up my ship a couple of times in testing, but the correct altitude is 5,000 million meters. So that's the area that's the richest with Carborundum, and that's something that I will try and pursue when it comes to orbit. Okay, so once again checking how much delta V we need to go for the conventional road back. I guess it's doable, I don't know, 2,000, maybe. Maybe 2 by 2, you know. Okay, so some final corrections here and there. But I want to make sure that I nail the 5,200 apoapsis million meters right on the nose, so the closer the better. And I don't think it will be inhabited either. I mean, space is a vast thing, so yeah. Okay, so holding maneuver prograde. And let's see how long this guy will have to burn. Making sure that it's pointed correctly. All systems normal or nominal, which I guess is good. And here is our waypoint. Great. Which basically means that now that we are aligned, we can also kick the execute plan maneuver and then once again accelerate until we get to that point in time. Beautiful sight. So let's kick the time acceleration now, shall we? Okay. Then we are coming up, I guess, on our burn, which should be happening in 3 minutes and 13 seconds roughly. Okay. I'm waiting until the signal delay actually kicks the gas, and there we go. On our magnetoplasmodynamic lithium-powered engines. Great. So now we are circularizing in the low sun orbit, I guess. Well, it's not low, it's, sun orbit. Beautiful screenshot. Okay, some more vistas, if you would like to call them. showing off our craft. Okay, and just for the record, guys, we are using the magnetoplasmodynamic engine to do circularization and stuff, but once we actually start collecting Carborundum, I will be ditching the stage despite its high delta V, because the delta V of the Carborundum itself is just mind-boggling. It is literally, delta V that is on par with the Interstellar, for sure. Okay. 7 more minutes to burn. Once again, very happy to have the flight computer, because I would just flip out. No way in hell that I would hold that thing steady for like this long. Okay. We have, with this good thing about this longer time burns, we have plenty of time to actually, comment things, get you guys up to speed on what I'm up to, etc, etc. So, I know that I missed 1 or 2 episodes of XCOM, just posting, but I am in a little bit of a time crunch, so I cannot really post everything that I will for most try to stick to the schedule, but XCOM 2 is at my lowest priority at the moment, so if I need to drop something, I drop that one for the time being, but I will still try to create episodes when I do have time, though. Okay, that's regarding the XCOM 2. Regarding otherwise continue business as usual, and as of recently, as you probably know, we have launched a Transport Fever as well, so yes. Very excited to be playing that game. I liked the original TTD, so it will be cool. Okay, how much longer do we have to burn? 750. Great. Might as well go grab myself a sandwich or something. Alright, 500 meters per second to go. By the way, having the 2 of the antennas is a little bit of a legacy. When I was using Dangit, and one of them would get maybe blocked or faulty and stuff, but then again, I have decided to use this redundancy to actually point one at long range antenna 1 and then the other at the longer range satellite 2, so I have some also redundancy from that perspective. Okay, 200 meters per second to burn. And by the way, guys, I'm thinking once we complete this burn, I actually might be calling it in for the episode. So please do like if you like the episode, hit subscribe button for more KSP content. That is for sure coming soon and in abundance. So yeah. And we've finished our burn. Beautiful. I guess, guys, that's pretty much it what I had for this episode. See you in the next one. So, until the next episode, thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks, signing off.